I could see us doing a little bit of what the Chiefs were doing. And what were we talking about whenever the Chiefs and Texans had that opener? We did the recap. It seemed seamless for Mahomes. He was just getting the ball out quick, dinking and dunking. And that's what we're seeing with Ben these first two games. Some of these quick passes. It was successful last week. And I think that's their strength. You talk about TJ Watt and their pass rush. Our line, it's been up and down a little bit. Definitely made big improvements last week.
And could potentially get DeCastro back. We'll find that out hopefully within the next couple of days. He was supposed to practice yesterday. Or excuse me, he was supposed to practice today, which is Wednesday. So we'll see how that whole thing plays out. But that's something to keep an eye on because him coming back will be a huge boost in terms of showing up that offensive line as well.
Absolutely, man. So I just think that could be the money for us right there. Is kind of replicating what Chiefs were doing with Mahomes in that offense and having Ben get the ball out quick. The difference is, though, the X factor, what the Chiefs had that do we have? Nah, probably not, is Clyde Edwards-Helaire because he was a big part of that was seamless offense going down the field. Yeah. And you could run on the Texans defense. Like I said, I don't think the Ravens rushing attack were as gaudy as the numbers show last year, but they definitely were able to consistently run on them, and so did the Chiefs with Edwards-Helaire.
And I will say this too, in both situations, the Chiefs obviously because of the threat of Mahomes airing it out, that created very favorable box counts in terms of how many D linemen and linebacker are in the box. It was very favorable for the Chiefs to run or even do some of those quicker passes to Clyde and watch him go to work. With the Ravens, it worked because of their scheme in terms of you just don't know who's getting the ball. I mean, it was 3 or 4 times you see J.J. Watt tackling, it got to the ground, and you're like, oh, does he have the ball? Oh, no, this guy's still running over here. So that kind of helped, the Ravens offense. But the thing that I'm concerned about in terms of the Steelers and how they want to attack them running the ball, if they try to line up with a 2 tight end set or even bring in a fullback, because I know people were talking about Derek Watt potentially playing more, I don't think
just for this matchup,
right? But I don't. The reason I don't think it's good is this, man. McKinney and Cunningham, the 2 inside linebackers. Cunningham is definitely more of your speed coverage guy, but McKinney, man, he got paid a big deal. I think it was a year ago, but he excels in terms of just the downhill thumping. Think Vince Williams, but he's a bigger version of that, right? I don't want to just line our offense up and just try to run at that back to back to back. I don't think it's going to go well. I do want to see us spread them out though, and then potentially run like that because I think we have the weapons here that they would have to play us similar to the Chiefs in terms of not being able to stack the box, having to keep a safety over top because of what Claypool's been able to do these first couple of games. Obviously, James Washington and Deontay, you've seen them from a deep threat standpoint. So I don't think that you can necessarily play with that extra defender in the box. If you bring in an extra tight end though, now they don't have to account for that because they're not having to worry about necessarily both sides having a vertical threat. When you got these 2 tight ends, man, it slows you down a little bit. Or even if you bring in a fullback and going 21 personnel, meaning you got James Conner or whoever running back.
Who's talking about this?
A lot of people.
No, come on. Are you? It doesn't even make sense.
Bro, I do a Steelers radio show. What you mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what?
I understand. I get what you're saying.
Every time, yeah. Bro,
this doesn't make sense to me.
Bro, people have been calling for 2 back sets.
No.
I swear. 2 back sets. And what we say to them is this. So if you're bringing in Derek, who do you take off the field? Are you taking off James Washington? Are you taking off Claypool? Who are you taking off?
That's our strength.
If you run 2 tight ends, which receiver are you taking off? But this will be here because they're trying to figure out how to improve the running game. It is what it is right now, man.
Why? I mean...
Why? You've seen the running game. Is it consistent now? Yes or no?
No. I think the running game comes if we're using those weapons and spreading it out. That's what I'm thinking.
It's different philosophy.
I just think that's our strength right now.
I agree with you, but the difference philosophy is this. Some people feel like you can open up the run by passing. Some people look at it like, man, let's open up the passing by running more. Making sure, okay, if you're hitting it, getting good runs, they're going to have to start creeping up, playing in the box. And now from there, you're able to spread them out, take shots, or play action. It's a different philosophy, man.
I get it. I'm just not buying it with this team that we got. We got a Hall of Fame quarterback. We have question marks at running back. I don't think there's any question marks with our 4 receivers.
I'm with you, man. I'm just letting you know trust me. I'm not coming up here saying something that I heard from one person.
Okay.
For me to talk about this, especially on the podcast, like I said, on the radio, it's different because you got people calling and you got people tweeting about it. That's one thing. I'm not coming up here to talk about that if I don't feel it's a strong consensus that feel that way. And it is.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Right. You're just giving I guess both of us agree with this. Our take, the counter to that, at least.
Yeah, so that's my only thing, man. And just hearing you talk about like running the ball, it reminded me. I'm like, bro, that's what they want. And I'm like, no, you don't do that. First of all, I'm not a fan of using fullbacks in right now, just because we talked about this, man. When fullbacks are on the field, a lot of attention is drawn to them, man. Whether you're blitzing it, whether you're bringing some type of, you slant your formations to that, man, because you're not bringing the fullback in to run a route. You're bringing that fullback in to either block from a pass standpoint or it's a run. So either way, he's in the action directly involved. So that's why you typically blitz him. Similar with extra linemen. When you bring in, like last year, when they talked about bringing in Zach Banner, the reason they kept bringing Zach Banner in was because when they ran or they used him, he was winning consistently. It was no debate and it wasn't close. If it's close or it's a debate, it's not worth it. And for me right now, I just don't see the value in using Derek Watt in that regard. When you have these thoroughbreds outside, they can take the top off of defense, man. For me, I would much rather pass that ball, man, as much as you need to, move the ball like you want to, and go from there. Use the run as the complement to the pass, where compared to using the pass as a complement to the run. Difference in philosophies. Everybody has, their opinions. It's kind of, is the glass half full, is the glass half empty? But I just think, man, with the way this offense is set up, you don't want to slow them down or take one of those receivers off the field by trying to bring in an extra guy to run the ball, man.